Wow, looks like a real book launching ceremony. Huh? Wow, I'm very nervous now, in fact. Uh, Before we start, can I have your cooperation? I would appreciate it if you could please help to switch off all the electronic devices, your handphone. It's not, of course, not these recorders. It's not to interfere. The video and the audio recordings of today's event. Okay? This is the first time I conducted my book sharing or book shows in English. I would like to let you all know that I'm Chinese educated and therefore I'm not so fluent with my English. So at points you might find I use some broken English or bahasa pasar. Please bear with me. And please excuse me for that. But I give you my word, I will try my very best to do this presentation. Should you have any questions, please raise up your hand. I will try my best to attend to your questions, okay? Briefly about myself, shall I go on stage? Not necessary, right? Okay, briefly about myself, 12 years ago, I was like all of you, studying mass communication, majoring in broadcasting, radio and TV. And ever since I was young, I had a dream to become a broadcaster. So my first choice when I applied for my university was mass comm. But later when I graduated from USM, I finally realized that studying mass communication and trying to get a job related to this field is not as easy as I thought. So it ended up I worked in the semiconductor industry as a production exec for nearly 2 years. However, I was very, very lucky to get a job in one of the private TV stations called MTV7 as a broadcast journalist in 2002, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, then later being promoted as a broadcaster, presenter of reading Mandarin news, Bulletin Mandarin, and later being promoted as an assistant producer, come host for an investigative program called Edisi Siasat. Any of you have been heard about this program? 追踪档案. Oh yeah, thanks. All right. Later, I quit from NTV7 due to some unforeseen circumstances. Then I joined TV2 as a producer, producing a program, a TV magazine program called Gallery Perdana Mandarin. I think Ms. Tan knows well about my background because Ms. Tan used to be my ex-colleagues for this two TV stations, in previous 2 TV stations. Hey, why am I talking so much about myself? I thought Ms. Tan already asked me to forward you all my background and some information about this book a week ago. So that you all can get prepared, to go through and get prepared with all the questions so that you can bombard me later with 101 questions. So before I start, can I do a very short survey? How many of you already get prepared with some questions? Okay, first question. How many of you have no question at all for me? Please raise up your hand. For now, no. Okay. I mean the preparation, okay. How many of you have prepared at least 5 questions for me? Wow, too bad. So in that case, I think I should talk longer so that you all won't have any opportunity to ask me so many questions, okay? Awakening, are you ready?
Yes.
Shall we start?
Yes.
All right. Awakening of memories, revival of history is today's the theme of today's sharing. Sometimes we don't have certain experience or we don't have certain knowledge about an issue. It's because we don't have any opportunity to know about it, to get to know about it. For example, If we are not showing you the documentary, how many of you have been to Sungai Buloh leprosy settlement? No, none of you, okay? So, it means from today onwards, you will at least have certain memories, some memories about this. I will try to implant in your memory about the stories from Sungai Buloh, okay? So, in fact, before my co-author, Mr. Joshua Wong, and I write The Way Home, the English edition, and also our Chinese edition, we have produced a documentary that we just show you. Okay, it is a story about a group of inmates, elderly inmates, have been forced to relocate from east section to the central section because of our government mega project. Our government wanted to build a medical school in the east section. That's why Joshua and I had spent nearly 2 years to document the voices of the inmates in the settlement who have been affected by this forced relocation. So if any one of you are interested to know more about their stories, I'll left one copy of my documentary with Miss Tan. So please feel free to borrow from Miss Tan, all right? This is not for sale, the documentary is not for sale. All right, shall we start? I will tell you 2 real-life stories of descendants who were back in search of their roots. Okay? So please don't be so serious. Sit back and relax yourself. Reconnecting with their loved ones. Okay, storyteller must begin with some description of the weather. It is a very hot and shiny afternoon in the month of April this year, where all Malaysian Chinese were very busy celebrating our Qing Bing festival, Qingmingjie, or in English we call All Souls Day. A Malay lady in her tudung and in her baju kurung came back to Sungai Buloh leprosy settlement to pay respect to her late mother. This lady had a Malay name, Noraini, but she in fact is a pure Chinese who was born in the settlement in 1957. She is the second daughter of a leprosy couple. So the next one, Noraini's eldest son, Naufal, her daughter-in-law, Suhaira, and her grandson, which all came along. So when all of them asked this cutie Michelle to call Nek Yang in front of the mom's headstone, honestly speaking, I was overwhelmed by their happy reunion. Nek Yang means great-grandmother in Kelantanese Malay. So later they took a group photo in front of the headstone. I consider this a graveyard reunion that transcends religion and race. I'll tell you the story of Noraini. Noraini, of course, she is Malaysian. She was born in Sungai Buloh and adopted by the driver of Sultan Kelantan, meaning to say that Noraini was sent out for adoption. A Malay couple adopted Noraini, and she was raised in Kelantan. And she was told that her birth father was a soldier in British Malaya, and her father had died before she was born. So in an effort to keep the truth of her birth, she was given a Malay name. Okay? And her adoptive father would tell Noraini, no, you are Malay, huh? Did she have a Chinese look? Yes, huh? All right. The thought of searching for her roots came up after Noraini's husband passed away in 2009. Because she realized that she is from Sungai Buloh by chance. It's the day after Noraini's adoptive mother passed away, she found her adoption certificates, what we call Surat Anak Angkat, among her mother's things. And through her friend's help, she managed to get a copy of her original birth cert from National Registration Department at Putrajaya. So when the officers printed out original birth cert, wow, then she knows her real identity. She realized that she is actually a pure Chinese, and her name was Cheong Yi Moi. And I know about Noraini through this notice, to this news reporting, because Noraini contacted Michael Chong. I'm sure you all know about Michael, Zhang Tianci. Michael Chong from MCA Public Services and Complaints Department, who held a press conference to enlist the help of the media to search for her birth parents. So I come across this notice and I'll call Michael. Hey Michael, I know that there is a lady who want to search for her roots, and I'm a full-time volunteer. At that time, I'm a volunteer in Sungai Buloh. I said, hey Michael, can you please give me Noraini's handphone so that I can contact Noraini, I can help out. So through my friend's help, because I know most of the inmates inside Sungai Buloh settlement, one of my friends, Philip Yong, is the person in charge of the record department of Sungai Buloh. So I was able to trace her birth parents' details from the record room. So I contacted Noraini. Kak Ani saya volunteer Sungai Buloh. Saya dapat tahu Kak Noraini punya masalah sekarang ni nak cari balik ibu bapa dan sekarang ni saya sudah dapat you punya ibu bapa sudah meninggal, tapi saya ada semua detail you punya ibu bapa punya information. So I invite Noraini to came back. Wah, Noraini was very nervous and she was quite suspicious and said, berapa you nak bayar, kita nak bayar atas pertolongan puan. Then I said, no need to pay anything, because I just want to help. Then in December 2009, accompanied by her two sons, Akif and Ariaj, Noraini back to Sungai Buloh for her first time in her life. Noraini searched for all records at the Settlements Record Department, and she found records of her parents, of course, and discovered that she actually has a sister who is two years older than her by the name of Cheong Yi Moi. Wow, they were very excited about this finding. So later, I brought Noraini and the sons to visit an inmate. I'm sure just now you already saw this guy, Mr. Lee Cho Seng. He is the council member in Sungai Buloh settlement, and I brought them to see this Mr. Lim. And because Mr. Lim knows late mothers, then they this Mr. Lee told Noraini about her birth parents' lives in the settlement and said, oh, you punya mak dulu tailor, wah bagus dia jahit itu uniform untuk inmate semua. Noraini, wow, ya ke? Lepas tapi dia punya gaji sangat sikit. Their pay is very low. Cuma RM30. Lepas tu ada kita orang mogok sampai you punya mak dapat RM136 semasa dia mati. Noraini said, you kesian, aduhai. Then these two young men, see, so sad when they listen to their grandma's story. Okay, it is the first time Noraini and her sons step in the Chinese graveyard. So the first thing I thought Noraini, when first met her mom's headstone, I thought Noraini would cry, but no, she's very calm and steady. Just put her left hand on her mom's headstone and start praying. Then her two sons was very excited. Ayo, sama muka mirip lama dengan itu nenek. I thought, of course lah, they are from the same factory what. So it is very unforgettable memories for them. So later, Noraini's story is documented in our books, The Way Home or 回家 in Chinese. I extracted a poem from Noraini to her mother. It is only one paragraph, you see. She said, at Sungai Buloh, you were in prison, dipenjarakan, a lifetime there you spent, never to feel a hug, a touch, a cares. What is the meaning of a birth? And what is the meaning of a family? Mother, oh mother, I'll fight for you, even though when we meet, you are lying peacefully in your grave. So you can have a complete version of a poem in our book. So when we published our Chinese edition, Norini and her family was very, very happy. And they all attend my book launching in Selangor Chinese Assembly Hall a year ago. And Norini did a declamasi, read out this poem to her mom and also to all the inmates in the Sungai Buloh settlement. It is very, very touching event. Next. In fact, I was very, very happy and deeply touched when I see more and more descendants back in search of their roots. Their stories, their collective, I call 集体的命运 or collective fate, is just like a series of events which is close related and in a form of chain. I could not help but being chained into it as well. So the other case is Julie. Julie is from Australia, of course, originated from made in Malaysia. Descendants from Sungai Buloh as well. Okay, Julie was adopted by an Australian and raised in Perth. In October 2006, her foster mother accompanied her back to Malaysia in search of her root. Julie's case is the most successful one, because by the help of her adoptive mother, they have a very happy reunion while Julie's birth parents still alive. Okay, in 2006, you can see from this picture, this is Julie's adoptive mother is shaking hands with Julie's birth father. But at that time, her birth father already divorced with her mother. She has a stepmother, okay? So Julie bring along 2 albums, compile snapshots of her lives in Australia with her adoptive families as a present to her father when they first meet. So this is the photo album that Julie gave to her father, to her birth father. And she described the emotional and life-changing event after being apart for more than 40 years. Julie said, I clearly remember the day that I was to meet my father for the very first time. I walked into his quarters and felt a connection instantly, despite we are not speaking a common language. I also immediately saw a family resemblance. My father cried when I presented him with a photo album. My stepmother was crying happy tears, and I was crying for the overwhelming happiness that came from not only finding my father, but with a feeling of love that surrounded us. My father offered us some beer, the Yam Seng and Yam Seng. Then I kept the empty bottles as a memento of the beautiful time we had together. So you can feel how she feel, right? Oh, bottle and as a peringatan selama-lamanya, this Yam Seng's bottles. Then okay, you can see Julie and her sons and daughters together with her stepmother and her birth father. Julie and the children had a reunion meal together with her biological father and stepmother. And after that, Julie's father accompanied her to the decrepit ward in a West Wing, a female ward, to visit her birth mother. So we can see this. Leprosy have left Julie's birth mother with no feet and no finger. But Julie was very fortunate that her mother is quite prepared to meet him and can still sit by her bed to wait for Julie's arrival. So they all take a photo with her mother. Then the first time when Julie met her mother, her birth mother, her mother cried and said to Julie, "Please don't be angry. Please don't be angry." My key hormone in Hokkien, of course, I translated in English for you all. Please don't be angry because we have no choice to send you out for adoption. Because due to the policies, the segregation policies, and we cannot raise children inside the settlement, so we have no choice. Then Julie burst into tears and she said, "I understand the circumstances at that time. I'm not blaming you." So Julie said, after meeting with her birth parents, she somehow can feel the great joy and gratitude inside her heart that she finally have the chance to meet her birth parents, even though they have been separated more than 40 years. So the purpose of this book is to eliminate discriminations and reserve the past history of leprosy inmates and their descendants, of course. The second one, it is what I'm trying to pursue now, is to reconnect the inmates with their descendants. Of course, while they are still alive. But many descendants back when their parents already passed on. It's very, very sad to know that. Also to defend the inmates' rights to be reunited with their descendants. For me, we have the right to live. It's our basic right to live together with our family, no matter how. You cannot say because of this disease, then you should be quarantined in a world that away from the mainstream society, being marginalized, discriminated, being cursed for your whole life. So it is not fair for the inmates and their descendants because of these segregation policies. So what we can do now is to help them. If they happen to know by chance they are from Sungai Buloh settlement, I'll try my very best to help them, okay? So this is our Chinese edition. After we launched the book, because our English edition just published last month, so it's quite new. For this Chinese edition, after we published this, it had aroused great interest among the public and it was widely reported by the media, all alternative and mainstream media, because of this book, more people had opportunity to get to know the isolated world. It's not physical world, but emotional world of the former leprosy patients and their descendants. So, shall I continue, Ms. Tan? Can? All right. Book campaign. So after we published our Chinese edition, we have conducted more than 15 big and small public roadshows, seminar talks, and sharing in different states. And besides that, we have also given free books to local and international leprosy organizations and individuals, to Sungai Buloh Settlement Council, and also to Malaysian secondary schools libraries. And part of the proceeds from the Chinese edition, we contribute back to this community by giving donation to the Sungai Buloh Settlement Council. It is taken in September, last September, we present a tract to Sungai Buloh Settlement Council for their welfare fund. We established a welfare fund called Adults Diapers, because we got to know that the diapers supplied by our government is not enough to cater the demand of the patients inside the decrepit ward. So that is why we allocate some fund for them. Next, the other half of the proceeds from our sale will go towards supporting the Sungai Buloh Community Museum Fund, led by me and two other volunteers. I have two members. So I form out a team called Oral History, Sungai Buloh Oral History Team or Task Force. Okay? Then this website will use the online museum idea to publish the inmates' oral history and relics as an effort to preserve the collective memory of Sungai Buloh community. So from this picture you can see we have already collected a few historical relics from the inmates, like this stool made by the inmates. This old man still alive, and his story is documented in our book. And 8 baskets, also made by the inmates workers. This is the religious stuff called 木鱼, wooden fish. I'm not sure what it calls in English. 木鱼. Then this is rambutan cartons, and they are carved, and some of their handcraft. So all of this we will published in our website under the icon of historical relics. Besides, for the past year, we have interviewed more than 50 inmates, collected their old photos and prison relics, and we digitalize all these important documents, old photos and relics to make the online museum project a success. So you can see this. Have a look on this. This is so-called Papan. They are medical treatment board. So each leprosy patients, when they first admitted to the settlement, they'll be given Papan. It's equivalent to our IC. So when they hold this Papan, they present it to the authorities, they can get their free food ration, free medical treatment, and all the stuff they need inside the settlement, yeah? So, of course, I got this from the Sungai Buloh Council. It's the relics from leprosy patients that have been passed on. So, we open up a file for each inmate that we have interviewed. So, we wrote all the captions. We hope to let all these old photos and the historical relics tell their stories. So, it is the most challenging part for us. How? You collected a lot of things, and how are you going to let them tell the stories? So we will interview them, and this website will be in video form, audio, and also all photos. So we have video gallery, photo gallery, and so some important documents, and we will compile the history of the settlements, the remaining leprosarium in Malaysia. It includes Sungai Buloh Leprosy Settlement, Tamboi Leprosarium, and Raja Charles Brooke Memorial Hospital in Sarawak. Yeah? Besides, I'll start on writing a Malay book with Noraini in the book, and the stories are already shared with you. I will encourage the second and third generation from Sungai Buloh to write a Malay oral history book. Why Malay? Anybody knows why we choose Malay for our next book project? Yes? Guess. One Malaysia. Satu Malaysia. Satu Malaysia. Yes. We want to become Satu Malaysia. We already got English version, English edition, Chinese edition. So we now want to strive for Malay market. Why Malay market? Of course, it's not for one Malaysia lah. Just kidding. Because we realized that from our interview, we know that during the olden days, many of our Chinese descendants been sent out from adoption, and many Malay families, they don't care. They like our Thai Gogia, children of leprosy couple. Especially Chinese, they like it. So they just adopt our children, Chinese children, yeah? So I hope this Malay oral history book will reach a wider community, a Malay community. I don't know why, since the old time, Chinese community was very, very sensitive about Taigo leprosy. a lot of legend that tells this leprosy is inherited to third generation. That's why even some of the descendants know they are from, but they dare not to recognize, acknowledge their identity. They don't want people to know about the secrets of being the descendants of a leprosy couple. So what surprised me most is that Noraini's family was very, very supportive, and they committed themselves to make this Malay oral history book a success. So I work with them. I hope that this book will share their researching process and their plight and also their hope. I hope their stories will inspire more descendants to be back to Sungai Buloh. Further efforts to help the descendants. Okay, once we know there is still descendants or any descendants willing to be back in search of their roots. Oh, this is the most so-called kurniaan. How to say in English? It's kurniaan Tuhan for me lah. A gift. I will try my very best to help them. So when this lady, the other Malay lady was back, wow, I was jumping high. Then quickly went to her house and have been up with her. Then we tried to know more about her. But this lady said her adoptive parents already passed away. What she knows is that her sister told her that you are anak taiko. Then your date of birth is not correct. But the only correct one is your year, the year you were born. So it's 1952. The only evidence that to prove that she's from, she know about her identity is just the year she was born. So by using this year, I couldn't help much. So I tried to brought her to our National Registration Department at Putrajaya to trace her birth cert. But she also don't have any of this Surat Al-Angkat, so it made it our efforts very, very difficult. Then, of course, our mission failed because to lack of this documentations and information about her background. So I'll try to make an appointment. I tried to make an appointment with this pengarah of Pusat Kawalan Kusta Negara. Then we tried bridging the descendants with the hospital authorities and let them tell their struggle to the hospital authorities and appeal for their help. Of course, my English edition helped me a lot because when we publish our Chinese edition, all the authorities are 99% are Malay. They don't understand the content. So when this book was published, I just presented it to them, then I just flip through and see this is they beg for in search of their roots. They want to find their birth parents. Then they all understand. Oh, yeah, good. Wow, challenging, wow. Then we see the brighter side of this depression. We are very depressed after working for a whole day at the Putrajaya, but couldn't get any info about her background. Then after a few days of efforts, we try to appeal to the main block, the Sungai Buloh Hospital authorities. This is Dr. Amin from Sungai Buloh Hospital, and we build rapport with the hospital authority. We want requesting for DNA testing. When this document could not tell, or we couldn't find any document, the only hope is that we try to dig out the old record books and check. By this year, 1952, how many descendants were born in babies' home in Sungai Buloh settlement? Wow, I found more than 15 babies been born in the same year as this lady. So who is who? I don't know. But Tempa, Main Tempa, do you know? There is a lady, old lady. Yeah, this is the lady, Madam Lim Nai. This lady, by chance, she has her second daughter was sent out for a Malay family for adoption. So we suspect, maybe this Malay ladies might be this Madam Lim Nai's daughter, because her daughter was also born in 1952. So we said, okay, can we ask for DNA testing for both parties? But the authorities told me, Dr. Amin told me that, we don't cater for this DNA. We don't have equipment to carry this, because Sungai Buloh, you can see from outside, very, very large hospital with very advanced facilities. You suspect it's very advanced facilities, but they don't have any equipment to carry out this. So they said only for the rape case, police case, the government will bear the cost. But for the individual who are still alive, you want to go for DNA testing, the individual have to bear the cost. The government is not due to disease, it's not due to leprosy disease. This is family ties, nothing to do with our hospital's job scope. And she said, you have to bear the cost. So after pledging and asking for help, I write a appeal letter to Dr. Khalid Ibrahim, the pengarah of Sungai Buloh Hospital, and we finally get their approval to bear the cost by our One Malaysia government to pay for it. It costs about nearly 2,000 for these two blood sample. So it only happened last October, yeah. The first time in the history of Sungai Buloh, DNA testing was performed to reconnect the families affected by leprosy. This is the Malay lady, and this is Madam Lim Nai. Her eldest son was there. So it is very, very meaningful for us to see all the doctors and nurses of former leprosy patients' descendants and their families have worked together to carry out the DNA testing, blood sample collection. So all these doctors, nurses, they are very, very excited. They said, wow, first time kita boleh ambil blood sample. In fact, they couldn't perform this. But considering that this Madam Lim Nai is very old, and we have to go to, according to government's policies, only chemistry department of Malaysia had the facilities to do the DNA testing, but the respective parties have to go to chemistry department. But considering that this Madam Lim Nai is too old and she can't travel, so the government cooperation, then they try, they approve that this DNA testing can be done in Sungai Buloh Hospital. So it did about 25 working days. So I expected the result would be out by mid of this month. Let's pray hard. I really hope that we can do something. But no matter what the result will be it good or bad for the families affected by leprosy, I consider this is a very, very positive move towards our project, community service project. Okay, our hope, of course, support of the Chinese and English edition of the Way Home, so that we can continue to serve this community and make our SPE project a success. So like I told you just now, our SPE projects includes book publication, the Malay oral history books, and of course, my next book will be oral history book also from Sungai Buloh, but I will write the life experience. I'll write the life experience of inmate workers. I've interviewed the inmates, the workers, following their different occupation, and our highlights their contribution in building up this community. You know, in the olden days, outsiders dare not go inside the settlement to serve the community because for the fear of contacted the disease. So it is self-sustained community in the Sungai Buloh settlement, and all the work is done by the inmates themselves. So they have their own firemen, they have their own policemen, teacher, lab assistant, hospital attendant, and they can give away this injection for the other inmates. All of the jobs are handled well by them, by themselves. So my next book will be following this occupational network and our highlights their contributions while they're still alive. Then of course our online museum project, and also our community service to reconnect the descendants back to their original families. The other case is quite positive, and I received the other Australian who emailed me and said she is a descendant from Sungai Buloh. Then I try to compile her birth parents' details, and I have confidence that this descendant will be back next year during Chinese New Year, and we'll show her some data, some old documents, and also I am contacting her missing family members, her siblings, to be there. So we are arranging a happy reunion for the Australian. Yeah, our ultimate goal is to reconnect the elderly inmates with their missing offsprings before they pass on. And also to ensure, by publishing all this oral history book, we want to ensure that the inmate stories and past sacrifices can live on in the hearts of our next generation. Yeah, your support. This is very important message. Will definitely make our community service project even more successful. Lastly, I'd like to express my heartfelt gratitude. And what inspired me to carry out this job? This is the most tough question for me, and all my friends ask me, why you are doing this ding dong things in Sungai Buloh? Go and find a proper job lah. They say, back to media line lah. Then I don't know why, but I think they inspired me. Their stories inspired me. The remarkable stories of first and second generations inspired me. And I wish I can contribute my professionalism to help them while they're still alive. It's not many left, only 200 plus still alive in the settlement, and I hope I can do something. I can do something with my professionalism. And sometimes I might joke with my friends, say, I think. I think I might be one of the lepers inside the settlements in one of my past lives, because the preface that I forward to you, you have gone through, you have read through that, you understand that why the first time I entered the settlement is because the graveyard been destroyed. Yeah, so I think one of the headstones of mine been destroyed. That's why it's an inner calling that I have to report on that and go in and siasat and chase the fellow out from the graveyard. Then after that, I feel that it's my passion. So even though it's a voluntary work, I still committed myself. When I receive a call, because most of them already know what am I doing now, they will call me. Hey, hello, quickly come in. We got one very, very precious photo for you. Then I have to traveling from Subang Jaya, Being To, to see for that special photo. So I feel very happy when more and more inmates know about my job and they help me and they can see what I see. Am I asking your question? Thank you. Yes.
Actually, I can share with you how passionate or persistent is Yenny. Because I always remember she told me her story in like covering or collecting data, in Sungai Buloh. Every weekend, Saturday, Sunday, we cannot, you cannot ask her out because she will always in Sungai Buloh. Okay, what she do, early in the morning at 8 or 7:30, she will be there, yam cha. Minimum, trying to talk, persuade those old men so that they can give her some photos. Or if some of the old men, they like jogging, in the morning, she will join them, And then maybe the first 6 o'clock, okay. So maybe the first week they don't really trust her because still a stranger. So the second, the third, after 1 month, say slowly, give her 1 photo lah. And then after another 1 month, they give them 5. And after that, 10. So this is how persistent she is, in collecting all the data. Okay. So the next question. Louder, please.
Can you come forward?
I mean, no offense, but I just want to know, according to the article from WHO Administrator Yohei Sasakawa.
I give you my come. Please.
Yeah, I mean with no offense, but I just want to know, according to the article from WHO Administrator Yohei Sasakawa, one of the wishes from the leprosy patient is to live peacefully and to be left alone. So, will they feel being disturbed when we put the family reunion issue on a high profile?
Of course, when we do this, they are looking for me, not I'm looking for them. I just urge, come back, but it depends on them, whether they want to be back, whether they want to search for their roots. For just now I answered your question, some of the descendants, they want us to help, but they don't want to disclose their identity, they don't want their stories to be published. Then we just remain silent. Okay, no problem, but we still can help you. But it already we spent a few months' time to help them. Then after that, they back to their country. So we respect that, we could respect that. But for those, like not writing in the book, we get their consent to share. They are committed to do this because they share our dream, they share our ultimate goal. So I don't see it is clashing with what mission of the Sasakawa to leave all these inmates live peacefully, because they are not peaceful when the missing families still unknown. They are still hoping that, in fact I have 2 clips, but it's recorded in Hokkien, 2 old men, 1 old man and 1 old lady, who are looking for her missing children. They are not peaceful. So our job is to help to reconnect them with their missing families, so that they can go peacefully one day to achieve their dreams. So yeah, we will handle it very carefully on these issues. And in fact, Sasakawa Foundation is my best supporter for carry out this DNA testing. When I told Sasakawa that I will pursue, I will appeal to our hospital authority to carry out this DNA testing when I feel damn depressed after we have spent so much time, but I couldn't find any official document, Sasakawa said, they are very, very surprised. They cannot believe this email, my email, is sent out from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Because I said, oh, this is very big issue in international, in the leprosy world. And many descendants' rights to enhance their rights, and many NGOs, international NGOs, been set up to help the descendants, especially in Brazil. And they are very surprised that we Malaysian, volunteer in Malaysian, can pursue for this. Thank you.
Can you slide? It's okay, I can speak. Okay, lovely. In one of your slides, right, you said that one of the goals of writing the way was to defend the right of the inmates to reconcile with their families. So, my question is, why is there a need to defend the rights? Has there been opposition from organizations or authorities that make you feel like you need to do that?
Of course, because our authorities, they don't, yes, they did a very good job in curing our leprosy patients, giving them good medicine. You can cure them physically, but the scars been left forever. But the most painful thing is that the emotional pain, the struggle inside the heart of each patient. So I recognize the contribution of our governments in supporting our inmates, giving them a very beautiful place to live. But again, I am against these segregation policies because in 1876, when Dr. Hansen found this bacteria called Mycobacterium leprae, and it's already known that patient under treatment cannot spread the disease, but still, all the governments all over the country, all over the world, still implement these segregation policies to the patients. So it is violates the human right from the olden days. So when this last batch of inmates still looking for the children, I think it is our obligation to carry out certain things to help them. So I try my very best to build rapport with the authorities. So I put a very high hope for this English edition. It is a tool for me to educate or to share my views with the authorities so that they know what we have done. And they will join us in protecting their rights back to their family. Thank you.
Next.
Yes.
Louder, please.
Why don't you do a follow-up documentary?
How I wish I can do, but I don't have this equipment. Honestly speaking. When we shoot this, we borrow the shooting equipment from New Era College. At that time, Joshua and I were lecturing in New Era College. So we, as a lecturer, we borrow, say, oh, this is very good issues to shoot. Then we publish it. So this documentary is not for sale. It's sponsored by Selangor Chinese Assembly Corps and this Saving Valley of Hope Solidarity Group. So it's fully sponsored. Yeah, I wish because I received, after we published our Chinese edition, guess what? I received a very good response from our local, a very famous director called, by the name of Lara Arifin. She called me and we met up and she wants to know my stories and I tell Lara, oh, very good, this is very important issues to pursue. Then Lara shared my dream, but she said she might need international fund to shoot the documentary. So after a few months, liaise with her Novista, we're still waiting. And she is applying from Japanese. I think it's from Al Jazeera. To present this to shoot this documentary, the upcoming documentaries. I'm still waiting, but. My feeling is that we can't wait for outsiders or people like Lara but how I wish I can do it by myself. And I'm thinking of maybe spend some money after we sell this book. We can get some proceeds from the English edition. I might engage with certain freelance photographer when my dreams days come, like what I shared with you. Next year, during Chinese New Year, the other Australian will be back. I'm arranging a reunion and big surprises for her that I can contact her siblings to attend to the reunions dinner. So I wish I can engage some few freelancers to help document the important event, so that I can slowly collect few visuals, running visuals. Of course, the simple, the normal event I can shoot using my old DSLR. Then the rest I need professionals help. I'll try on my own pace to do something. And of course, one of my students from New Era College still helping me by doing some visual editing to present our interview clips, although it's shoot by this DSLR. It's not in good quality, but we will present it in our website project. So how I wish you can join me by become our volunteer, or maybe Miss Tan can organize a trip. Let us have a tea gathering or kopitiam at the kopitiam. Then we can see what we can do. All right? How did DC Siasat help me? Oh yeah. Freelancer? Joe Shaw is away lecturing in China now. I seldom contact my ex-colleagues in NTV7 due to some unforeseen circumstances. Make it more secrecy. Okay, but few of the cameramen like Diru, still keep in touch with me. They are willing to help, but I also hope that their efforts can be compensated in certain ways. So I wish to push my English edition so that I can gain some proceeds. Then their efforts will be paid. Am I asking your questions? Of course not. IDC has helped me a lot. And I know how to write script. I know the visual sensitivity when you're doing in a TV station, or you're exposed to all this canggih equipment, Quantel. Wow, by using this pen, you can edit all the visuals. But when you came out, when you left the TV station, you have to work on your own. You have to find ways. You cannot use Quantel anymore. Maybe you can buy an Apple and try to use a Final Cut Pro. That's more than enough. All right? Thank you.
As the Way Home is a non-profit project.
Okay.
So do you get any sponsorship?
Sorry. I would like to make a clarification on this. Our Chinese edition is a non-profit project, but my English edition is self-funded, so it's not non-profit project. I use the proceeds to support my Sungai Buloh project. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. So you support this book, you are supporting our whole team to run. Half of it non-profit project. So the other one, because when you want to build rapport with the inmates, you want to get authorities involvement, you need a lot of money and time. Like you want to go to Sungai Buloh settlement for Yam Cha, then build a relationship, then you have to buy Yao Cha Guai. But in a small kopitiam, small matter. But how are you going to build relationship with all the inmates there? You have to, dong, I'm coming, Yao Cha Guai time. Then you have to spend about 80 ringgit to buy this Yao Cha Guai for all the inmates there, the patients inside the ward. So it is, you have to spend some money. Then when you want to preserve the historical relics, like they'll surrender you all this good, this is our old uniform, or our old clothes, our costumes that represent opera show in the olden times. Wow, you can see the clothes is very, very dirty. But can you wash all these important costumes using your dynamo at your home? Cannot. You have to send for specialists. Dry clean, then preserve it. So it is costs.
So how much actually is your book?
Oh, how much is my book? Both 40 ringgit. Give you all 10% discount. It's 45 per book.
Why you call those staying in Sungei as inmates? Why you don't call them patients?
Because they are fully recovered, so they are residents inside the settlement. They cannot join the mainstream. Inmates means yuan min, residents in the settlement. Because since 1969, no more new admission to the leprosarium. It's our government policies. Because it's not a contagious disease anymore. You can treat this disease when you contracted leprosy. Yes, leprosy is still a disease, a normal disease. So you can treat it in your home. You can take medicines. So we have this multiple drug therapy. It just takes 3 types of medicine called DDS, Dapsone, ribapicin, and also chlorpheniramine. So these 3 types of medicine you can take at home. So no new admission. So I call this is the last batch of inmates because they are fully recovered. Only that they have all these diabetes. It's not. They have some certain disease, but it's not leprosy anymore. But leprosy have left them with all these handicapped things. Their skins, facial disfigured, skin lesions, eye damage, nose drop, but it's forever. It's due to the past time. They don't have any medicine for them in the early years. Do you know what I mean? So we call them inmate. We don't call them lepers because they are not lepers. They are fully recovered. So our title is former. The isolated emotional world of the former leprosy patients. They are former leprosy patients. They are inmates there. And their descendants. Don't call them lepers.
Mark, first I think Mark just now already raised up.
Okay, Mark.
Yeah, I understand that your book, the aim of you writing this book is to help to reconnect the inmates and their descendants and also to fight for their human rights. But what kind of contribution do you expect from the public? Because you publish it in a book already, so you expect everyone to read it.
Sorry? Sorry?
Everyone's going to read it, so what kind of contribution do you expect?
Oh, okay. For the mothers, I expect them to tell their children every night. Long time ago, there is a settlement in our country called Sungai Buloh settlement. Instead of telling them Cinderella stories, then for the father, okay, for the public, I wish they can share our stories. They purchase our book. They know, they understand their emotional needs. They share our stories. And of course, by holding this kind of sharing, it will reach wider audience. I will appreciate that. So I'm going to run road shows, book sharing section in some association or some schools or public talks, seminars. It is a book so-called awareness campaign we can communicate with our audience. We can the Q&A session is very, very important for them to understand because I know well the lives inside the settlement, so I can share with them. So a lot of mates, how come you want to do this work? You're not afraid of contracted this disease? So they have, they still don't understand. They are not being exposed to this kind of knowledge, especially you can see this social work. I'm not a medical student, so that I can't answer very detailed one of this bacteria or causing which one. I cannot answer on that, but you can ask more on my social work. I'm a volunteer. Yeah? Yes? Yes?
Okay, the question just clear my doubt. Is the inmates, they are